Hey there, Greg Rhoton for Street Scene Plus again, coming back to you from my driveway, and wanted to tell you about one thing that I go out to car shows, and I know this gets under Rick's skin. You have this guy that just painted his car, and it's beautiful. I mean, it could be a beautiful paint job, but it's got orange peel in it, and it could be so nice if they would just wet sand it. I know wet sanding, oh my gosh, I have to sand it in my brand new paint. It's not that bad. I've wet sanded my Bug over here, and when I painted the car, it had a lot of orange peel in it because I was painting in my garage. It is glass now because you take the steps. So, you know, try it out. Get a bucket of water. You don't need a bunch of water, and you know, if you got a lot of orange peel in your paint, you might want to go 1,000 grit. And what you do, you soak your paper in your water. You go on the, you know, get a piece of rubber. I bought this at like Star Supply in a big sheet, and I just cut little pieces. Just something so it evens out, so you don't sit there and dig into your paint. Just wrap your sandpaper. Start with maybe 1,000 grit. If it's got some fine scratches, 1,500 grit. But just soak it in water. Like I said, I have a bucket of water here, and a little bit like this. Just go over it. Let the tool do the work. Go over it. Make sure it's all even. Okay. Just make sure it's all even. There's my 1,500. I use 1,500 grit. Kind of smoothed it out. Didn't go through. Watch your edges though. So then after that, you wipe it off. You go with maybe a 2,000 grit. You go right over that, the whole hood. Go over the whole thing like that, just a little bit. You can see a little bit coming off. Came off, and then I've got a 3,000 pad. These are cool, and I got this one at Walmart. It's just a very fine sandpaper, kind of like a pad, and you wet it and you go right over this again, just like that. And you'll see it's going to be cloudy, but you'll want to, it's going to be dull. But with this 3,000 pad, it's going to start getting a little gleam. Once you take some rubbing compound and like an orbital buffer, if you have that, if you have a high-speed buffer, be careful. Put the bonnets on or the pads and very lightly go over it with a rubbing compound, then some light compound and wax, and you're going to have a glass finish. If you need to do a little more wet sanding, don't be afraid, just take it slow. It's not hard, and it scares people, but if you're really nervous to see what it looks like, go on the bottom of a fender and try the little corner. Go wet sand with 1,000 grit or 1,500, and then you start off with that, then go 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 grit, and then buff it, cut and buff it, and see what happens on just a little piece. I guarantee you'll be blown away. It took me many years to sit there and get the guts up to learn how to wet sand, and I should have done it years ago. I have my 65 Herbie replica that I got painted, and I just waxed it. And it had a lot of orange peel in it, and I finally got to the point one day I'm like, I'm going to try wet sanding this, and man, it is glass. And I did that 10 years ago. The finish is still beautiful on it, and I just keep it waxed. It's always garage kept, but try wet sanding. And you know, just take a little piece at a time and do little bits at a time. You'll guaranteed be amazed at the finish you get if you do it right. For Street Scene Plus, I'm Greg Rhoton. I'll see you next time.